Hello everybody, happy new moon in Scorpio. We also have a solar eclipse. So I wanted to start off this solar eclipse new moon reading with the meaning of a solar eclipse and what it means when it happens during a new moon. I also want to explain what a new moon is. So the first thing we're going to cover is, keep in mind it's not a lunar eclipse but a solar eclipse. But generally when like an eclipse happens during a new moon, we're going to expect powerful change. During a solar eclipse, the moon passes between the sun and the earth, momentarily enveloping the solar rays. On a partial solar eclipse, the moon occludes only some of the sun's light and in the process casts a vast shadow. With all the portentous doom of alien aircraft descending upon the heavens, the sun is a masculine archetype representing our external projected reality, a symbol of vitality and identity. The moon, or Luna, meanwhile, represents the mother archetype, bearing eons of history, pain, and emotion. When the moon casts a shadow upon the sun, it cuts the transmission even for a few moments, which may be enough to trigger an awakening. So this year, this will be the third of 4 eclipses in 2022, all on the Taurus Scorpio axis. The last round went down with a partial solar eclipse in Taurus on April 30th and a total lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 16th. You may remember that period as a vertiginous lurch on the roller coaster to hell, with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial spinning into kangaroo lunacy and the U.S. Supreme Court taking aim at long-established abortion rights. Consider October's partial solar eclipse timed just as the Los Angeles rape trial of Harvey Weinstein begins, an opening salvo for a new cataclysm introducing themes which will come to form with the total lunar eclipse blood moon freak show in Taurus on November 8th. Dun dun dun. So just when you thought like stuff was about to go down, this new moon solar eclipse, we have a total lunar eclipse with the blood moon on in Taurus on November 8th. Crazy, right? So eclipses go down when the sun and Luna hit the moon nodes, the designated convergent points in the 2 planet orbits in 2022. The south node, where old karmic business is released, entered Scorpio. The north node, the door to our future, entered Taurus. Broadly speaking, Taurus and Scorpio deal with sex, money, and power. Taurus rules the body, its anatomy and desires, but that perfected Apollonian bull god must submit to Scorpio, the bloodthirsty dungeon master. And I have a Scorpio moon, which I think is funny when I am reading this. I'm also getting a lot of info off a website, and I will link the website below if you'd like to read it. I'm still learning a lot when it comes to astrology, so just doing a deeper dive on certain points of the moon and stuff like that kind of helps me to learn more about astrology and then help you teach you guys about astrology. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Because eclipses act like revelatory flashes, the 2021 to 2023 Taurus Scorpio cycle feels in particularly dragged, centering around the human body and how its natural freedoms can be controlled, denied, or wasted. So solar eclipse in Scorpio is about truth, lies, and crossroads. This eclipse marks the 10-year anniversary of the sci-fi epic Cloud Atlas, whose martyr messiah son leads a revolution for the enslaved clones class in Neo Soul in 2144. Truth is singular. I'm probably going to skip a little bit of this information, but it does ask you a couple questions. I'll leave that for you guys to check out in the link below. It also gives some information on how to deal with the eclipse. Okay, so moving on, we'll talk about the other aspects of the new moon and solar eclipse. Okay, so the new moon. The sun and the moon are conjunct at the new moon, supplying energy for new beginnings and opportunities. It brings a fresh start. A new start is coming. You can hit the reset button on your life. Listen to your inner voice. It is time to dream and imagine future possibilities. The new moon energy has focus and speed and will manifest quickly. It brings the opportunity for reflection, change, and transformation. Solar eclipses always happen at new moons, signaling a time for rebirth. Solar eclipses give you a powerful portal to enter and reset your will, soul purpose, and intentions in life. During a solar eclipse, it is good to have quiet time to shed the old and upgrade to new frequencies and energies. A completion and new beginning can happen simultaneously. Alrighty, so as I mentioned before, the new moon is going to be in Scorpio, theming working through your fears. It suggests rebirth and thinking of your situation as the phoenix that rises from the ashes, as birth, death, and rebirth is a paradigm. That's what Scorpio energy is all about, which I personally love. That's why I love the number 13. Scorpio energy is also like represented in the planet Pluto, as well as the number 13, and it is the number tarot card, the Death card, which is my favorite card in tarot because I definitely learned through personal transformation and rebirth. Whatever you've been through, there's a new start ahead. It might be a little dark. It's almost certainly won't be rainbows and unicorns, but it'll be deep and transforming. But know you're magical, and this is the time to work your magic. Really great time for manifestation. This is the time to rewrite your story. I heard a really cool quote or video from my husband today I wanted to actually talk about. Is they talked about like why most people it's hard to achieve success, and he was interviewing this one guy, and I think it was a podcast. I think I'll link the video below as well. He said people are held back by the story that they tell themselves and the story that they tell others, because you've been repeating this story to yourself. You've been literally telling it to yourself, and it's what's literally holding you back and keeping you in the same stagnant circle, and that you can't break free from. And so when certain energies come into play, or certain personalities get you to kind of think about that, you kind of like, if you're noticing you're stuck in these stagnant patterns, and how can we focus on the story we tell ourselves, or the words we tell ourselves, and self-criticism, and how hard we talk about ourselves. And so if you're noticing that you have any of those patterns, like working through your fears, like it's definitely a time to kind of like talk about those patterns and figuring out how we can work through that. Scorpio energy does also represent sex as well. So if you've been experiencing something of a drought and emotional intimacy, like expect this to be amplified within your relationships. Scorpio is also a sign that likes to go deep into the body, mind, and spirit. So there's nothing superficial about coming your way. So some things that we can think about when we're talking about working through our fears is maybe letting go of grudges you're holding on to, moving on from jealousy, being aware of obsessive patterns or compulsive thinking patterns, things that make you paranoid, or how you make yourself paranoid. And then also, it's a perfect time if you've been thinking about making an investment. It would be the perfect time. Okay, so with the new moon, I also wanted to talk about a couple crystals, if you like working with crystals, that you could work with, especially with the new moon in Scorpio. Two of the ones that I picked out is celestite and selenite, which looks like this. Selenite is super good to, like, if you're wanting to connect with your ancestors, especially since we have Samhain coming up, which is the day of Halloween, and how we honor our ancestors. Selenite is a great way to connect with our angels and our spirit guides. So I guess I'll start with selenite, some positive affirmations that come with selenite. So it says, connect with your feelings and instincts. Your guides are trying to communicate with you. Are you listening? Are you distracted by others' demands? Reconciliation is favored, but you must initiate the action. Purify your thoughts, feelings, and space, removing the influences of others. Focus on living the life you want rather than trying to seek approval. Make quiet time at night to sit in the moonlight. I am here to live my life for myself and am guided by my heart and soul. I love selenite. I sleep with selenite underneath my pillows all the time, and I very much love doing dream divination, and so I write my dreams down, or I'm just pretty good at remembering my dreams in general, and I've had some crazy ones, but this is a good one to put underneath your pillow if you're into dream divination and communicating with your guides in your dreams. And then celestite. Beauty exists in all things. When you learn to see how the world is unfolding in the divine perfection, you will have no choice but to see how beautiful life is. Align yourself with beauty. Allow it to inspire you. See it in all things, and most importantly, see it within yourself. Shine your inner beauty into the world. And then we have affirmations. Oh, did I read it? I think I read this one. I allow the beauty of my heart and soul to shine. So if you guys want to write down these affirmations to use during this week, these are beautiful affirmations that you can keep in mind. Okie dokie. So we're going to keep on moving on with the oracle card to portion of the reading to kind of see what the theme might be for the collective. We did talk about kind of like looking into our shadows and looking at toxic behavioral patterns, learning to invest in yourself, learning to work past your fears. So let's kind of get some themes. If you're interested in this deck, this one is called the Starlight, Enchanting Messages from the Cosmos. And since we're talking about some astrological placements, I thought this would be the perfect thing to kind of give us in our oracle card area. Okay, let's shuffle. I'm gonna get about 3 of these for you guys. Ooh, that one jumped out. All right, I'll pick that up in a second. So let's get the next one. Ooh, of course, we got the moon. Take time to reflect. We grab the one that fell on the floor. Evolve. Oh yes, I love this. The cosmic potential flows through you. I love, 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 love that. And then one more. Oh, did one flip? Yeah, one did flip. Yes, definitely. If you feel like your emotions are running high, definitely self-care is very important. I do say, like, if you have time for the new moon to kind of like, it's going to be like very small in the sky because like, it's like coming from the dark moon, and the dark moon is not very visible, but it's still nice to kind of like be under the star, and some journaling might help. Doing some journal work, maybe pull some oracle cards for yourself or some affirmation cards would definitely be really useful during this time. Okay, so let's get our Halloween oracle deck. It looks, I think the box, oh yeah, this is the Halloween oracle deck. I love this. I've been using it pretty much all month. I had a tarot pop up earlier this month, so I'm super excited to see which card is coming up for the collective this time around. All right, Spirit, what does the general collective need to know? Ooh, yeah, zombie, the living dead. That's so interesting. We talked about working through fears, so I feel like zombie is automation. You know, the zombie doesn't really have control of its eating habits, right? They kind of like are the undead. They don't have like a full capacity of brain functions to be able to live and function. And so when it talks about control, how does control look like in our lives? Are we too controlling of certain things? Are we afraid to break out the box? Um, are we kind of like afraid to take on new commitments? Are we afraid to take risks? So this will be the kind of theme of the collective reading. And just keep this in mind of like when we're thinking of your reading. I will pull your tarot cards next, and to save time, I'm going to shuffle the tarot cards off camera. And we'll see how the zombie card kind of goes in hand with that. I might also read the message from the booklet provided just to give you some further feedback. Okay, so a little bit of a message from the booklet is one of the most frightening aspects of the idea of zombieism is the idea of our souls and consciousness being trapped inside a body that does not do our bidding but someone else's. Another is the idea of being buried alive, the fate of some, it is said, who get trapped in already dead bodies. Should the zombie step unsteadily into your life, it's time to look at the concept of control. Do you want to control everything, leaving little to free expression? Do you choose partners who are not your equal so that they're more easily manipulated and changed to your liking? Or do you allow that to happen to you? If you're not living your most authentic life, it is time to look at why and how to change that. Absolutely, evolve. We need to evolve from trying to provide so much control or taking too much control in your life, and you kind of have to let yourself experience that freedom, that personal freedom, that authenticness that comes from within you. Okie dokie. So how I read my tarot cards is I'm going to start each column here. And this column is going to represent the recent past in the last couple weeks or so, maybe in the last month. This pile is going to be the current situation. And then this will be the advice. And then I'll also pull a final advice card from Spirit from the bottom of the deck as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about the first column, the recent past. So we have the Page of Ghosts, which is also the Page of Cups. As you can see, he's holding a cup. He has a fish in it. And there's a letter in the corner because Page of Ghosts does represent messages. It's also a very highly intuitive person, or if you've been getting a lot of symbolism or meanings lately, or if you've been seeing some meaningful words that really speak to you, that could be why. It also could represent getting messages in your dreams as well, but like getting in messages in different ways. So some people have angel numbers. Some people just like get certain meanings from songs when they listen to it. There's so many ways you can get these messages, but messages have been coming your way and it's just like nonstop. It's like you just been intuitively picking this up, or you just have this intuitive knowing or the sense of knowing that something's about to go down. Then to clarify, the Page of Cups or Page of Ghosts is the Nine of Imps, aka the Nine of Wands. And as you can see, there's people standing behind him, kind of like holding the torches. And I call this like the torches of experience because Nine of Wands is known as the wounded or the battered warrior because of all the action he has seen, all the turmoil he's seen. It kind of like personally transformed them into a person who is super resilient and knows how to take action or knows how to deal with conflict when it arises and well, you know, that might get knocked down temporarily, but this is like someone, or this is like you learning how to deal with the uh, obstacles and rough and tough blows that are coming your way. It is upright, so it means that we have been taking action to kind of like be more aware of our surroundings, be more, since cups represent our emotions, so being more aware of our intuitive sides, our subconscious thoughts. Some astrological placements for the page of ghosts is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and the lunar cycle represents new moon. I mean, come on. I was so like like in awe when this card kind of flipped out. And then guess what? The Nine of Imps represents Mars and Sagittarius. Um, and then lunar cycle is actually the solar eclipse. I mean, you have both. Like, what are the odds that both would show up in this reading? So, with that being said, if you've been feeling wary, if you've been feeling burnt out, I think the message that's coming to you is that, like, with this new energy, this solar eclipse coming through during the new moon, there's going to be a huge energy shift for the collective. So, like, if you thought about giving up, don't. This is telling you need to push through. Pay attention to our bodies, pay attention to the emotions, pay attention to your feelings, pay attention to your surroundings, and listen to the messages that are coming to you. Okie dokie. So I forgot to mention the 9 in tarot represents completion and breakthroughs. So like especially now through this week or the next couple weeks, we're gonna see some breakthroughs happen for you guys. So like I said, if you've been struggling to kind of see the progress of things you have been working on, especially working through some emotional issues or emotional feelings, those are going to clear right through, especially since we have the Ace of Imps here, which is also the Ace of Wands. And then we have the King of Ghosts, which is one of my favorite cards as well, in the Minor Arcana, because the King of Ghosts is kind of like that emotional advisor, spiritual advisor. He learns to kind of like balance the head and the heart. You know, he's able to, he puts a lot of other people first sometimes. So like you kind of have to balance like your people pleasing tendencies with kind of like being able to put yourself first and not putting other people first. And like especially since like people like to come to you like as their advisor, like they want to come to you and ask you for your advice. They need your help all the time. And so you're gonna have to set, like, this is like in the next couple weeks, you're going to be able to set boundaries and be able to stick those boundaries, especially, you know, the Ace is considered new beginnings and a gift from spirit. Ace of Wands or Ace of Imps astrologically has Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. It's very fiery. It also represents the new moon lunar cycle. And for some of you, this might be spiritual awakening, especially for those who have been trying to maybe develop their psychic gifts. You might see a breakthrough in that as well. You might be able to connect easier with your spiritual guides. You might find the form of that connection in a specific way, because it's going to be different for everybody, and as well as just motivation in general, the motivation of how you feel. It's built up energy, and it will challenge you to find your authentic self. It's stretching you to the heights of your spiritual and conscious expansion. When you see the Ace of Wands come in, it's all about how can we direct all of this fire, all of this motivation to where it can be beneficial to us, right? Where we can see the end result, where we can be this King of Ghosts, where we can see some results. And so if you're waiting for some results, if you've been looking for a sign that like the transition or the change has finally starting to hit for you guys, I would say the last quarter moon. If you've been working on this for a while, the last quarter moon is going to be somewhere around next month in November. It's usually the last coming energies that are coming through the lunar cycle before it goes into the waning moon. For some of you, if this is just the start of being able to go through and on a intuitive journey, a psychic journey, or an emotional journey of healing or emotional healing journey, you might see some results. This might be something that you might be working on for maybe into the summertime, around the summer solstice. We also have Pisces represented in the King of Ghosts, and that's kind of makes sense because Pisces is super dreamy, super intuitive, very much like open-hearted. They wear their hearts on their sleeve. Like I said, the King of Cups is like the father of the heart and intuition, master of the heart emotions. He embodies like the element of fire and water, balancing and integrating the fiery masculine courage with the watery feminine empathy, resulting in deep intuitive wisdom that blossoms into an intense passion for unconditional love. And that's really cool because like if I had to personally relate to this, I definitely, like, as a musician, I've been going through a lot of like self-doubt and self-confidence, and so I'm hoping like through this energy shift I'll start to see more of the progress I've been making, working on certain things as a musician, a singer, a pianist, and being able to for me personally, release emotions. So like if you've had some pent up emotions, like this is the perfect time to kind of look at these emotions that have been laying inside you and kind of release those emotions. And one of a really good thing that you could do that I did tonight is taking a spiritual bath. Highly recommend. I feel like spiritual baths are a great way to kind of visually and like and with your senses feel like stagnant energy and visualize energy leaving you from the body and kind of like into the water. So if you're very much connected to the water element, I highly suggest looking into spiritual baths as well. Okay, so I kind of see this last section kind of like what's to come in the future, but just keep in mind the future is changeable, but dependent on your choices and actions. But but in the near future, there is an option and there is choices where you can navigate yourself to the complete, powerful gift of pure love. You know, love is the pure holy grail within each of us. You know, receiving the divine love from spirit awakens your heart chakra, brings you joy and blessing of renewal and peace. And just like I said, aces, and we have two aces. So aces are usually gifts from spirit. And this can be like also just having your aha moment. You know, with the Ace of Swords, it talks about mental clarity. Ace of Imps talks about motivation, creativity, passion. And then Ace of Ghosts or Ace of Cups is just pure love. And with that love comes healing and transformation, you know, bringing deep self-love, motivating to share your abundant love with others as well. So the key to this is living from a place of love and compassion. And then to clarify that, we have the Chariot, which like is very, very significant. When we see one of the major arcana cards show up in a reading, this is usually something that you really need to pay attention to, or a really good message to keep in mind. And so the Chariot represents intuitive action, change, and victory. So it's like if you have fallen off the path, you're going to be put back on the path, and that path is going to be on the path of healing for yourself, on the path of your true authenticness, the path of like the thing that would put you back on this path is your willpower and self-mastery. And when this happens, it happens fast. And so like the results that you've been waiting long for will come really, really fast. Chariot also represents traveling too, looking at new perspectives and thoughts and refocusing. So like look at your familiar skills you once relied on and are now outgrowing and are not useful to you on your new course. And think about change, because change does make you feel restless. But just like the zombie card that we have here, we need change. We can't stay so controlled. You know, you don't want to stay, you don't want to stay off center. You don't want to struggle and not have that courage to push forward. The chariot also the chariot also symbolizes the cosmic warrior who has traveled through so many experiences and learns that if you have the will and determination to dig deep within you, you'll find the well of inner strength to overcome any blocks that holds you back. So that's really awesome. Like, this talks about a lot of personal transformation. Like, no one else is doing this work, you're doing the work. And if you want to see the progress, you have to do the work yourself. You can't rely on others to do the work. Like, you have all these people behind you, but the one in peace is you. Like, you're like, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm not going to stand in line. I'm not going to do the same thing as other people. I'm going to be me. Yeah, okay, so clarification advice from the tarot card at the bottom of the deck. This is all about your foundations. The Emperor talks about leadership, structure, foundations, being able to provide. So this talks about being able to provide structure for yourself. This can talk about your daily habits as well, providing maybe some routine in the home, some good journaling or emotional check-ins with yourself, or some good self-care to relieve some stressful moments, and being able to take breaks for yourself, and also being able to recognize toxic patterns and putting in the work to fix that. As well as the Emperor also represents the father and the king. I mean, the Emperor is the king, but it also represents the father. So if there is some unfinished business that might lead to a father figure, whether it be a male mentor or a person who might have been like a father figure, your actual biological father, a stepfather, if there's like some unfinished business or some closure that you need, like this will be the perfect time to work through this and kind of like find the closure that you need from this particular family member. All right, so now we're going to go to some final messages from for the reading. Okay, so the next card I will be showing, I shuffled off camera just to save some time on the video, is a card from the Everyday Witch Oracle from Deborah Blake. You can get this from Amazon as well if you're interested in this deck. One of the last things I wanted to say about the Emperor is another thing that came to mind is investing in yourself, investing in your time, investing in how you want to portray yourself, how you want to present yourself, investing in your career, investing in your creativity, in your passions, especially since we have the Nine of Wands and a lot of we had the Ace of Wands, especially representing the creative spark and passion and determination. And especially since the Emperor is also known with Mars, which is the planet of aggression, determination, will, and hard work. So this is really a time for self-investment. So to connect it to control, like if there is something in your career you want to invest in, like now would be the time to kind of take that risk and invest in that option, because I don't think you will fail at all. I think it's the perfect time to do that. Alrighty, so we got fire magic. For those of you who like to include some rituals, and since we also got the Emperor, it's a great way to kind of include some manifestation, fire magic. That doesn't surprise me. I did talk about connecting with water, but if you prefer fire or connecting with the element of fire, oh my God, I love candles. Using positive affirmations with candle work and just like looking at the flame, staring direct into the flame, talking about your positive affirmation or mantra or your prayers. You can pray over a candle as well. But yeah, if you want to add that aspect into your practice, I'm going to give you a couple of things from the book, just because it has the divination meaning. It also has the magic you can do as well. So let me go ahead. All right, so page 63. It says, fire magic. Who hasn't been enchanted by the soft glow of candlelight or the cheerful dancing flames of a bonfire? Fire magic is all around us and is perhaps the easiest way to integrate into our everyday lives with a touch of kitchen witchery. The element of fire is all about creativity, passion, and energy, but just like fire itself, too much of any of these things can burn us up and burn us out. On the other hand, if you're feeling as though your own internal flames are burning low, perhaps you need a little fire magic in your life. So this is the action part of the card. The simplest way to connect to the magic of fire is to light a candle. This can be anything from the smallest tea light on your altar to set up a beautiful beeswax tapers, which are long candles. You can get them literally at Michael's or dollar store or anything like that. Added to your dinner table. Light a candle and send out a prayer, or just sit in meditation for 5 minutes as you watch the flame. Commit to lighting a candle, the same one briefly, or a series of candles that you let burn down until they are gone. Every night for a month, and see if you don't feel a little bit better, more in tune with the power of fire. But don't forget to use fire-safe containers and don't leave lit candles unattended, especially around small children or pets. You don't want the power to go up in flames. So the divinational meaning of this card, which applies to this reading, is it's time to connect with the magical aspects of fire. If you have a place to do so, light a bonfire and dance around it in celebration of the powerful element. If you can't do that, light a candle or a bunch of candles, or stir a pot of something magical on the stove. Add some spices for some extra heat. Ooh, man, you know what I love? Maybe I'll make some ramen now. I'm hungry. That makes me hungry. But making a nice, good bowl of ramen or soup. Oh my God. Especially for this season. Oh my God, yeah. Manifest your love, manifest the creativity in your food as well. If you love to cook, this is a great way to implement this in your routine, in the daily life that you live. All right, so here is the magic portion of the card. Take fire magic to the next level by adding some special magical touches to a basic candle. Using a pillar or votive candle, use a sharp point to the tip of your knife, toothpick, or crystal to etch symbols into the wax. These symbols can vary depending on what you're trying to achieve with your spell work. For instance, if you're working toward prosperity, you can use rune symbols like Gifu or Fehu, a dollar sign, or anything that represents your goal. If you're working on love, you might etch a heart or two onto your candle. Then anoint the candle with magical oil or an essential oil that is suited to your task, lavender for healing, for example. If you really want to go over the top, you can make your own candle from scratch and add herbs into the wax. Just remember, during all that, you have to concentrate on the power of fire and draw on that when you finally light your extra magical candle. Okay, the next final message I want to do is from one of my favorite decks to use during the fall season, Seasons of the Witch, Samhain Oracle. Samhain is a Irish Gaelic term for kind of it's the celebration of honoring your loved ones. It's usually celebrated on the day of Halloween. Some people might celebrate it on the full moon in October or the new moon, just depending on their traditions. And so I love this card. It has upright and reversal meanings. And so we got Cauldron, which I've drawn many times this month, so I'm not surprised to see it again. It says, bewitching, yes it be, blink and you shall see. All right, let me start over. Bewitching, yes it be, blink and you shall see, a bubbling desire left in the brewing rain. Oh, that's so cool. Cauldron, fire, mad. Oh, this is all coming together. I don't know if any of you like to do kitchen witchcraft, but that's where, like, this is definitely an element. Like I said, working with food is a great way to use and practice manifestations for yourself. So it is in reverse. So kind of like, I'm going to read directly from the book just because usually reversals have a different meaning. So let's see what the keywords are. So cauldron represents transmutation, vessel, and metamorphosis. And the reverse meaning is, know that your desires are being put to the test of the cauldron's flames. The universe needs to know you can stand the heat before giving you bigger and better things. Challenges may be unwelcome, but they prepare you to hold more in your vessel. Having more of anything means more responsibility. If you cannot handle the challenges with what you have today, how do you expect to handle the challenges of more significant responsibilities? If you're feeling the heat, try your best to learn the lesson of your hardship and how it can help you in the future. Learn your lessons when you have less to lose. That's interesting. It all comes together, honestly, especially with the Nine of Wands, like I said, the wounded warrior, working, being resilient, working through what you need to work through, investing in the self, healing past trauma, fixing toxic behaviors, and kind of focusing on those aspects as well. Okay, and for the final, I wanted to do messages from Spirit. I'm going to draw about 3 of them just because I know this is a collective reading, so not all of these messages pertain to one specific person. So just take what resonates and leave what others doesn't resonate to the others that it might resonate for. I'll show also the book that it comes with. These are just like really good little messages from Spirit to take in. I really don't usually read the booklet for this because like it has some words on it to describe the card, which kind of, you know, is very direct to the point. Okay. Sorry, I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, I need to fix this. All right. All right. So if you're interested in this deck, it's called the Spirit Messages Daily Guidance Oracle deck. John Holland. He also has a tarot deck that I really like as well. I think it's called the Tarot Oracle of the Heart, which I can link below as well. All right. So let's see what some direct messages we might get from Spirit to kind of help you during this transitional time of the solar eclipse new moon phase. What does the collective need to know? All right, the first one, stay connected. We are all born connected to Spirit, often known as the divine source. Yet many of us have a tendency to pull away from that connection as we journey through life in the physical world. Now is an important time to reconnect to source. Yes, connecting to your guides, spirit guides, maybe your ancestors as well. Because you never know what guidance they might give you if you're listening. Okay, next one. Messages to the collective. Spirit, what messages do they need to know today? Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. Relationships. Relationships are just mirror images of your own life. How you feel and treat yourself, as well as how you react and respond to different situations and people around you. Be aware that every relationship is an opportunity for soul growth. Yes, we you know, the Emperor does represent, like I said, the father. So that is just like another thing to keep in mind is looking at your relationships. And for some of you, it might just be maybe a male figure. Or it could be even like a loved one, your husband. Well, yeah, your husband is a male figure. And if not, like if you're not, if you have a partner, they could have some masculine energy that, like, you know, it might represent to you, or you might look up to, or you're related to, or in a relationship to. Everyone has yin and yang, masculine and feminine aspects. All right, and the final card. Ooh, have fun. Oh, this is a good one. Stop. When was the last time you had fun? When was the last time you took a chance and did something silly? Something totally unlike you. Something just for joy of it. It's long overdue for you to let go of your analytical mind and give yourself and your soul permission to have fun. Yes. Oh my God, that's so important. Very much goes hands in hand with the zombie word control. Time to invite some play back into your life. That might be why also fire is so like predominantly in the reading. You know, passion, fun, play, love, all that kind of stuff. Self-care. That's all things that we're going to be inviting back into our life. All right, guys, this is all I have for your collective reading. If you feel like you would like more of a personal deep dive or a personal kind of like explanation or dive into your own situation of things that is coming, you can book me at my site. I have an Etsy shop. I'll link it below. I also have Square, where you could book me for appointments as well. And then as well as I'm on Google Maps now, so you can find me on Google Maps, which I think is awesome. And I have my website linked to Google Maps. Thank you guys so much for coming to this reading and listening to me give you some special messages that you needed to hear. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments that you might have. And I will try to answer them to my best of my ability. So thank you to you. Thank you to your spirit guides and my spirit guides to be able to pass along these information. And I hope that you're able to get through this week. And I am sending you my love and light. I will see you next time. If I don't have a reading with you, happy Halloween, and I'll see you.